ओके
सर एक बार 21 देखिएगा ना, 21 देखिएगा ना एक बार, उसका क्योंकि कोई ऑप्शन मैच नहीं करा, अभी हम प्रोग्राम रन करके देखें।
सर
21
24।
ओके 1 मिनट। What is the output of the following Python program? Defining a function xy has default value 1 2. Okay, चलो इसको रन ही करा देते।
सर वो एफ एक्स कॉमा वाई तो कभी कॉल ही नहीं होगा ना, क्योंकि रिटर्न के बाद है।
Then
तो
fy2
आंसर आना चाहिए
x1.
इसका।
Okay, let's check. Wait a minute. X is not defined.
सर वो
एफ
सर
एक्स
एफ
कॉमा
एक्स
वाई
कॉमा
भी
वाई
सर अंदर
अंदर है
रहेगा।
सर। सर वो फंक्शन के अंदर है।
Okay, पहला fxy
यस सर।
तरह
यस
से
सर।
इधर 1 2 5।
सर पर 5 तो प्रिंट करेगा ही नहीं ना।
सर हम लोग में 5 प्रिंट जैसे अभी करा तो नहीं किया, और करना भी नहीं चाहिए।
अगर तुम ऐसे लिखोगे तो क्या देगा? देखो
तो उसमें तो नहीं लिखा है ना सर कैसा लिखना है।
एक्चुअली वो अगर उसमें करोगे आइडियली में तो उसमें नहीं दिखाएगा तुम्हें। 1 मिनट 5 एक्चुअली तो जिसने बनाए होंगे उसने जुपिटर से बनाया होगा। तो एक्चुअली ये जो कलेक्शन है एक्चुअली सारे टीचर्स मिलके मतलब 4 4 5 5 क्वेश्चन बनाया रखा है।
सर तो ऐसे भी तो आंसर नहीं है, ऑप्शन ही नहीं है सर 1
ओके
से स्टार्टिंग का।
तो इसमें क्या देगा बस चेक कर लेते हैं। यहाँ सिर्फ 1 2 देगा तुम्हें है ना आइडियली में। और यहाँ पे क्या किया है?
सर 215 आंसर दिए हैं आप तो, हम लोग क्योंकि बिकॉज वो आपका एफ एक्स नीचे था इसलिए एरर डाल दिए थे, और ऑप्शन भी कोई वैसे बन नहीं रहा था।
अच्छा ये एफ इधर एक फंक्शन नहीं था तो आंसर 1 2 होना चाहिए था। इसमें प्रॉब्लम है ना 21 में।
यस सर।
सर 24 नंबर भी देखिएगा ना।
ये नंबर ऑफ
यस
बेस
सर। सर इसमें मतलब सर नंबर ऑफ बेस कंडीशन अनरिस्ट्रिक्टेड है आंसर जो दिया हुआ है, लेकिन सर वो रिस्ट्रिक्टेड एटलीस्ट 2 ही होगा, 2 से ज्यादा तो नहीं होगा।
नहीं कितना भी ले सकते
कितना भी बेस कंडीशन डाल सकते हैं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है।
रिकर्शन में तो 2 ही डालते हैं ना।
नहीं
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 नहीं,
तब
कितना भी डाल सकते हैं, 1 2 3 के लिए अगर अलग भी डिफाइन कर दे तो हो जाएगा।
हाँ लाइक यू कैन सी जैसे हम लोग फिबोनाची में देखे थे।
सर पर मिनिमम तो एक बोलता ही है ना डिफाइन करने।
हाँ मिनिमम एक रिक्वायर्ड है
और
बट
यहाँ पे मेंशन नहीं है कि मिनिमम पूछ रहा है कि मैक्सिमम पूछ रहा है।
हाँ तो रेस्ट्रिक्टेड का मतलब उसका सेंस वही है कि अपर लिमिट क्या हो सकता है। सो व्हाट इज द रेस्ट्रिक्शंस? तो मिनिमम 1 तो होगा बिकॉज बेस कंडीशन इज रिक्वायर्ड टू टर्मिनेट द प्रोग्राम.
ओके सर.
ठीक है, दूसरा
सर
क्वेश्चन. हाँ
सर 21 में ऐसे आंसर क्या अगर अभी तो है नहीं तो उसमें क्या होगा?
अभी तो जो एक्चुअली इसमें आंसर की भी था तो मैंने उसके हिसाब से लगा दिया है ना. तो जो उन्होंने लगाया था 21 का ए उन्होंने लगाया हुआ है, मतलब पेपर ये मैंने नहीं
यस.
बनाया है, तो किसी
यस
और
सर.
टीचर का है. तो जो आंसर लगाया मैंने वही लगा दिया था. तो मैंने देखा नहीं जो की है, की के हिसाब से मैंने वो पेपर बना दिया.
यस सर.
तो इसमें या तो नॉन ऑफ दिस देना चाहिए था फोर्थ ऑप्शन, या इसको 1 to 5 करना चाहिए था. मतलब 5 तो चलो आइडियली में आएगा नहीं, वो तो उसमें जुपिटर में आ गया था. अदरवाइज
सर 20th भी बता सकते हैं?
20 ये
हाँ सर, इसमें कौन सा ऑप्शन करेक्ट है?
देखो भाई, करो बाकी लोग.
सर डी सर.
Yes, sir. Last option.
So first, a function which is using recursion should have a return statement. A function cannot be invoked within itself. To define a recursive function, we use the keyword called recursion. And a recursive problem has a base part and an inductive part. तो इसका सबका बाकी जो तीन पहला पॉइंट है उसका तुम्हारे पास काउंटर एग्जाम्पल होगा, है ना. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ रिटर्निंग यू कैन राइट प्रिंट. बिना रिटर्न कराए भी लिख सकते हो तुम.
Yes, sir.
सर एटलीस्ट 1 रिटर्न तो होना ही चाहिए ना रिकर्शन में, वरना
No,
रन ही नहीं करेगा.
नहीं जरूरी
नहीं,
नहीं है.
जरूरी नहीं है.
क्योंकि रिटर्न की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, तुम बिना रिटर्न लिखे भी तुम प्रिंट करा के रिटर्न छोड़ सकते हो.
तो सर नीचे वाला जो ऑप्शन डी है ना, उस पे सर स्टेटमेंट ऐसा रहना चाहिए ना कि अ रिकर्सिव प्रॉब्लम हैज अ बेस पार्ट एंड अ रिकर्सिव पार्ट. इंडक्टिव पार्ट मतलब कंफ्यूजन हो सकता है सर.
ओके, एक्चुअली तुमने ध्यान से पढ़ोगे ना जो पीपीटी है या बुक में है, तो बुक में ये स्टेटमेंट बुक का ही है. सो लाइक इट सेज दैट एवरी रिकर्सिव प्रॉब्लम हैज टू पार्ट्स, मतलब वही बेस पार्ट एंड रिकर्सिव पार्ट. तो जिसको उसने इंडक्टिव पार्ट भी लिखते हैं, मतलब बुक में ये वर्ड भी यूज़ किया गया है, तो बुक से ही उठाया गया है,
ओ
तो उसमें ये
ओके
वर्ड
सर,
यूज़
ओके
है
सर,
इसलिए.
ओके सर.
ओके ठीक है, बाकी प्रैक्टिस करना, और क्योंकि एग्जाम में ऐसे ही क्वेश्चन आएंगे, इस तरह के ही होंगे. और ऐसा शायद तुम लोग का 24 से मिड सेम है ना.
यस सर.
यस सर.
नेक्स्ट वीक में, मतलब ये तो शायद उस वीक तो क्लास कितने एग्जाम्स हैं, 5 होते हैं तुम्हारे, कितने हैं
सर पूरा वीक एग्जाम है
पूरा
सर.
वीक? तो पूरे वीक क्लास तो होगी नहीं, शायद नहीं होगी ना.
यस सर 31st तक एग्जाम है.
ओके, तो नेक्स्ट वीक में क्लास होंगी, फिर तुम्हारा 14 से एंड सेम भी है.
यस सर. सर सिलेबस उतना ही है, कम हुआ सर?
अभी तक मतलब कम होगा चांस है, लेकिन श्योरिटी ने अभी तो बताया नहीं है. 12 चैप्टर ही होगा. अभी हम लोग 11 कर रहे हैं ना, तो मिड
यस
सेम
सर.
के बाद एक चैप्टर ही करना होगा, सिर्फ 12 करना है. सो एंड सेम में
यस
सिर्फ
सर.
11 12, मतलब ऐड जो होगा 11 12 होगा. 10 तक तो आ रहा है मिड सेम में, एंड सेम में मतलब 12 तक होगा. अभी तक ये प्रोबेबली है, अभी फाइनल ऊपर से नोटिस नहीं आया, मतलब अथॉरिटी से, बट ऐसा हम लोगों ने प्लान किया है, तो देखते हैं. क्योंकि बाकी 5 चैप्टर करना मुश्किल है, मतलब 10 दिन में इतना कैसे होगा, एक चैप्टर भी मुश्किल है ढंग से. ओके, अब यहाँ से कंटिन्यू करते हैं. सो हमने लास्ट क्लास में यहाँ से स्टार्ट किया था इनहेरिटेंस. ओके, ये हमने देखा था, ये हमने एग्जांपल भी देखे थे लास्ट क्लास में. पर्सन एंड एम्प्लॉय. पर्सन जो क्लास था वो बेस क्लास था, एंड एम्प्लॉय क्लास इज डिराइव्ड क्लास और सब क्लास, एंड पर्सन क्लास इज बेस क्लास. सो इट इज नेक्स्ट. So next is there are different types of inheritance based on how base classes and derived classes are defined. So these types are given below. So like different types of inheritance are given. The first type is single inheritance. Second is multi-level inheritance. Third is hierarchical inheritance, and fourth is multiple inheritance. So what is the definition of single inheritance? So when inheritance involves a derived class that derives its properties from a single base class. Like हमने example देखा था person employee वाला. So उसमें भी we had only one base class, that is person class. So that will also be considered as single inheritance. So when inheritance involves a derived class that derives its properties from a single base class, as shown in figure 1. So figure 1 was this. Okay, so one person class is a base class, employees. So if you have only one base class, so that is single inheritance. Syntax will be class derived class, like we have seen class employee, and base class is person, and then code. So I may show you this code. Mm. So this we have seen in last class, I think, yeah. So class employee, so this employee is the derived class, and person is a base class. Okay. So this we have seen. So this way we can write an example like class employee. And this example we have, and derived class, base class, or you can say subclass, superclass. So all the data and method attributes defined in the base class become available to the derived class. Okay. So like you can see the syntax here, person dot init self name date of birth address. So these variables which were available in the person class is available to this employee class also. Using this syntax we are importing, or we are using that. When an object of a derived class makes a call to a method that is also defined in the base class. Okay, so when an object of a derived class makes a call to a method, okay, and that is also defined in the base class, Python invokes the method of the derived class. Okay, so when you will have you will call a method that is available both in derived and base class, so it will Python actually invoke the method of derived class. Thus, the derived class methods overrides the base class methods, and this process is known as method overriding. Okay, so this is known as method overriding. Next, we have this using super function for accessing a method of base class. So, super, then you can write derived class name like employee, self, and dot init parameters of the base classes like name, date of birth, address. Okay, or other way you can write this super dot. So super means super class. We are accessing the methods of super classes. Super class means base class, parent class. They are same word. So super dot init parameters of the base classes like name, address, date of birth, all that. Okay. So this we have used in different. So it is not used, but you will see later on. Super like I have used. So here you can see that application of that thing. Here clerk is a subclass of the base class employee, and their employee itself a so what I was showing here employee is itself a derived class, and person class is a base class. But the example I'm showing you here, employee class is a base class, clerk is class clerk is a derived class. So just I was showing you this syntax. Super dot init name, date of birth, address, basic salary, date of birth. These were actually these variables are available in the employee class, and that we are using for the class clerk. So we can use this syntax. So here employee class is a super class, and clerk class is a base sorry, the subclass you can say, or derived class. So it's like this. Scope rule. So to access an instance attribute, Python will first look for it in the instances namespace, then in the class namespace, and then in the superclass namespace. recursively going up to the hierarchy. So read it carefully. So to access an instance attribute, Python will first look for it in the instance namespaces. So objects namespaces, or you can say objects variable, instance variable. Then in the class namespaces, and then in the superclass namespaces recursively going up in the hierarchy. So I will explain you this using example. So look this example carefully. Okay, so class A. So we are defining a class A, and Z is 30. So here we'll call Z as class variable. In class A, Z is defined. So when you want to use it, you will write A dot Z. So class A, Z is 30. Then we are initiating an object, and objects variables are X, self dot X is 2, self dot Y is 10, self dot W is 100. Means X, Y, W values are here in the object of the class A. Now we are returning, so we will return the output as a string. So W, value of W, then X, value of X, Y, value of Y, and Z, value of Z. Okay, so this is class A. Now we are defining class B as a derived class, and A is a base class of B. So you can write B is a subclass of A, or you may write A is a superclass. Okay, A is superclass of B. Okay, so subclass has same name, child class or derived class. Superclass has same name, base class or parent class. Okay, so here in class B we have x4, y20. So this x and y, these are class variable of B, and we are in setting object a dot init self. So we are actually using the variables available in the objects of the class A. Okay, and here we are assigning self dot x is 6. So in the so x is instance variable having value 6 in class B, and self dot v is 50. So defining def string, now we are returning w, x, y, z, and v. So v. Okay, and what we are doing, define main function ob1 object 1, you can say object 1 is a class with default parameters, and ob2 is b class. Okay, and printing ob1, printing ob2. So first I would like to ask, so इसको मैं वहाँ रन करता हूँ, ये पूरा विजिबल है ना यहाँ पे. ओके. Okay, so one by one I would like to ask. So if you first look carefully. So scope rule we are explaining. Okay, so now what will I do? Look here. So look this program, and now what I'm asking. So what will be the output for object 1? First you can check it. Okay. So what I'm asking, the first print will do what? First print this ob1. So what will be output corresponding to ob1? Who will tell? Okay, so let me ask. चलो यहाँ से स्टार्ट करते हैं। रामाकांत, नेक्स्ट यश पटनायक, अनिकेत,
Yes, sir.
who is this? Yes, yes, you can tell the output. So what will the output of this program? You check here. So what is output corresponding to this? First OB1. So OB1 is what? You check. OB1 here is class A.
Class A, sir.
हाँ, a class A में what you are returning this thing. So you have to tell the output corresponding to this. So like what will be the value of W? बताओ W का आंसर क्या आएगा?
Sir, 100 है sir.
100 है और X
2 है.
2 है, Y
10 है.
10 है और Z
Sir, Z 30 है.
है ना. So Z is 30. So when you run this, so first print will print object 1. Object 1 is class A. So class A है ना, Z is the class variable and these are the instance variable of the class A. Okay,
Yes, sir.
this is fine. Now second, so I will ask other one. So second print is object 2. Okay, देखो गलत आंसर बताओगे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, एटलीस्ट ट्राई करो, मतलब जिससे भी पूछता हूँ. सो ऑब्जेक्ट 2 and object 2 is a class B, है ना, class B with default variables. And here we have so class B is this. Okay, here. So what you are returning here in class B, you are returning W. So who will tell? तो किससे स्टार्ट करें? हाँ जी अर्शदीप, would you like to try?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is the value of W in class B?
So value of W, sir, will be 100 only.
ठीक है. So actually we are using class A as a super class of B, so that
Yes,
may
sir.
be, but you have to see the scope. So what is scope that? Yeah, so W is 100. Okay,
Yes, sir.
what is X?
Sir, X is 4, sir.
So you think it will print 4? Okay, so see there is 6 here, 4 here, 2 here. Now you have to decide which one will be printed. Okay,
Sorry, sir. It will
one
be
is
6,
2,
sir.
one is
I
4
didn't,
and
sir.
one is 6. Yes, so you
Yes,
have
sir.
to.
Sir, actually, I didn't see the constructor, sir.
So I will remove so that it will be clear to you.
Yes, sir. Sir, X will be 6, and then, sir, Y will be, sir, 20.
Okay, 6, Y will be 20, Z
Sir, sir, Z will be, sir, 30.
30, and
And,
V
sir, V will be 50.
50. So V is defined alone. That's right. Okay. So
Yes.
let me run it, and now you check it's correct or wrong.
Yes.
So this is class AB. Okay, A and class B. So now you see the output carefully. Now you check. So like the first output it told 100x, sorry, W100, W100, 2, 10, 30. The first one is fine. Check for second. 100, 6, 100, 6, 20, but this is 10, 30, 50. 30, 50 is fine. So here is the problem in Y. Is it? So now let's back to the program. So what is the order? Okay, so we have to see the scope. So what is the order in which it will follow? So check here. We were to find the output of OB2. Object 2 is class B, and class B is this. So what scope is what? So once you see the PPT, so there is something ambiguity here only. It is not written carefully. clearly actually. To access an instance attribute, Python will first look for it in the instance namespace, then in the class namespace, and then in the superclass namespace, recursively going up in the hierarchy. So first instance namespace. So like you can say there are instance variable and class variable. So first it will access the instance variable in the subclass. So B is the subclass. Okay. So instance variable are these in the subclass. Then it will go for the instance variable in the superclass. First it will access the instance variable. So when you are calling in the subclass, it will first access subclass. Then if it is not found in subclass, it will go to the instance variable of the superclass. Then if it is not found there, then it will check in the class variable of the subclass. And if it is also not found there, then it will go to the class variable in the superclass. So order
Yes,
is,
sir.
so now we can check. So now for the y it will first check. So value of when you are writing this y. So first it will check in the instance variable of the class B. So y is not here. Okay, y is not found here. Then it will go for here instance variable in the superclass, and here y is 20. So that's
Yes,
why
sir, it is
20
calling that
value.
also.
It is found there. Oh, sorry,
Yes, sir.
not 10, 10.
Sir, 10, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sorry. So it's a 10. Y is 10 here, so it will take 10. And it is found, so it will not go ahead. So
Yes,
done?
sir.
Yeah. So
Okay, sir.
Anna, you can see carefully everyone. So in exam, suppose this type of program comes, then you will be able to answer. Otherwise, because that option will also be there. Whatever you think wrong, that was option also be there. So you have to think. So this is the order. So first it will look into instance variable of the subclass, instance variable in the superclass, then class variable in the subclass, and then class variable in the superclass. So here z is only defined. You can define x, y, z, something more. So order is first, second, third, and fourth. Okay, this is the order or hierarchy, you can say. Okay, so back to PPT. So that was example of this scope rule. Now what is saying? Double underscore basis double underscore. This used to find base class or base classes of the class. So like suppose you want to find the base class of a string. So string dot double underscore basis double underscore, that is object. Okay. So you have seen object class is the base class of every class. And like so this if I run there, this was string double underscore basis double underscore. So object. If you write instead of that, it was this. Okay. And here it is saying double underscore name double underscore used to retrieve the name of the class. Like here is Python in a string form dot double underscore class double underscore dot then name. So first, if I write here, so Python is string form. So here I have to. So it is printing string. So the name of the class of this Python is string. Okay. So right, if I write suppose 5, so invalid. So it should do what? Okay. It print list. Yeah, this is a list. Okay, this you can access the name of the class. Now we have hierarchical inheritance. Yes. So we have here we were looking single inheritance. So in single inheritance, what happened? Only one super class is available or base class is available. Now we have hierarchical inheritance. So there, what we'll do? Derived class is like any other class. Okay, derived class is like any other class. So this is also a class. Okay, derived class is also a class and may serve as a base class for another class. So for example, person class were base class to the derived class employee. Okay, now employee is itself a class. So that can also be served as a base class for another class. So like I have shown you clerk and manager, there will be class. So every employee is a person or every clerk is an employee. So clerk class we can make and clerk class will be derived class of the class employee. So we'll make that each derived class may defined. So when inheritance, sorry, have one. Each derived class may define its new attributes. Okay, yes, each derived class may define its new attributes. Thus, inheritance allows us to create a class hierarchy and also called type hierarchy. So when inheritance involves more than one level of hierarchy, like you have seen na person class, employee class, clerk class, manager class. So that are the hierarchy, such as A implies B, B implies C, like that. Okay. So like every clerk is an employee, every employee is a person. Okay. So like that. So it is called the multi-level inheritance, and now we call it multi-level inheritance. So when inheritance involves more than one level of hierarchy, such as A implies B implies C, so this is called multi-level inheritance. And inheritance involving multiple classes. Okay. So inheritance involving multiple classes deriving from a single base class. So it is saying inheritance involving multiple classes deriving from a single base class is known as hierarchical inheritance and shown in the figure 2. So figure 2 is here, I think. Yeah. So here you can check car is a passenger vehicle, auto rickshaw is a passenger vehicle, bus is a passenger vehicle. Okay. Similarly, passenger vehicle is a vehicle, commercial vehicle is a vehicle. So you can see here these are derived classes, you can say define. Then these are if you want to define, then you may define it as a base class corresponding to this derived class, but vehicle class is a base class corresponding to this derived class. So these are the inheritance hierarchy. Okay, or multiple inheritance. So hierarchical inheritance may be combined with multiple and multi-level inheritance. Okay. So hierarchical inheritance may be combined with multiple and multi-level inheritance to yield hybrid inheritance. So for example, I have programs. I'll show you. So here we have defined what? First I'm importing employee class. So here I have, this is the correct one. So this you can see. Uh, So I have program name employee, and we are importing the class employee. So first you have to yeah, I have shown you now employee person. Yeah, person was the base class and employee is derived class. So there, from there I'm importing, this is a program name, importing employee class. And from date, so it was not, it is my date, I think. My date, import my date, and location is this. So location I have to improve. Hmm. So I changed the name of the program actually. So this is a my date, like you can see here. So this my date is a program name, and it contains the class my class, my date class. Okay, and so we're defining a class clerk. So clerk is a derived class, and the base class is employee. Okay, and clerk count is initially 0, and so we are initiating object. So it's a constructor. Okay, with this variable name, date of birth, address, basic salary, date of joining. These are variable in the uh, instance of the class clerk. Now this, we are just using the variables in the superclass employee. Okay, so in the employee we had these many, I think, name, date of birth, address, basic salary, and date of joining. These were already present in the employee class, so we are just taking that name or that variables. So super dot, so super class is this employee class. So the variable in that were this, so we are just taking that variable, initiating this name, date of birth, address, basic salary, and date of joining. And clerk dot clerk count plus equal to 1. So this is actually when you define the new instance of the class clerk, it will, clerk count will increase by 1. This is a destructor, so whenever you will delete an object of the clerk, it will, clerk count will decrease. Or this is that if you delete an instance of the class employee. This is one class. Okay, so clerk is a one subclass of the class employee or superclass employee. Now we are defining another subclass manager, and superclass is employee. Okay, so subclass or derived class, they are same thing. Okay, I say sometimes base class, sometimes superclass, they are same thing. So initially the manager count is 0, and we are initiating object with variables name, date of birth, address, basic salary, date of joining, and one more variable it has. Okay, so derived class may have more variable, so it has one more variable, managerial pay. And super dot, so we are just taking the variables from the employee class. So that variables are name, date of birth, address, basic salary, date of joining, all this. And then self dot managerial pay. So this is the variable in the manager class. And now if you introduce some object of the manager, it will count will increase by 1. And we are defining some functions like update managerial pay. So this is the modifier, right? Modifier, it will modify the managerial pay. Or yes, so this is called a modifier. One is accessor, so like this is the accessor. So using this function you can access the salary of the manager. And using this function update managerial pay, this will be used to update the managerial pay. Okay, and next we are writing this to return. So what will be the output? Employee dot str self. So all the things you were returning in the employee class, like name, date of birth, address, basic salary, date of joining, so all these will be returned using this command. And now one more variable you had, managerial pay, and this. Okay, and this is a destructor here. So if you delete any object, it will, count will decrease by 1. So now we have taken one instance, one object of the class clerk. So clerk, and these are the variables: name, date of birth, address, salary, date of joining. And now printing clerk 1. So clerk, we are returning what? So this will be returned. Okay, so here we are returning full return name, same like that. Here we are returning this employee class, so same like this thing will be returned. So this we have already written in the class employee, so that we have imported. Okay, here we have taken that. Yeah. And here we have defined the object in the class manager. So manager is class name, and these are variable name, date of birth, address, uh, salary, date of joining, and managerial pay. Okay, so if you run this program, you will get like this. So like this: Arjun, date of birth, address, this, all this. Okay, and then this for manager, this thing. And here we have called the function get salary. So get salary was for the salary of the manager. So manager 1 dot get salary. So it will print the salary of the manager, this 35,000. So 30,000 in salary and 5,000 in managerial pay. So it will return that. Okay, so you can try to also write that. So you may try this. So first of all, do you have this program? So those who have done first employee program, then that can do. So first you have this class, this program, employee. So in the last class we stopped here. Okay, so actually each classes and uses the previous class. So you must have all the classes to import. Otherwise it will not work. You have to define all the variables again and again then. So what do you do? First you actually do this employee class. First you make this program and then you make that. So 1 minute, or let me just लास्ट क्लास में मैंने शेयर किया था. सो जिन लोगों ने कर रखा है, यू कैन डू, अदरवाइज यू कैन डू इट नाउ. This is employee class. First you have, है ना, you have to run this program, then you can run that. So first you run this program, and then I will send you this. This is an employee class, and using person class as a derived as a base class. So पहले कोई इसको रन करो, and whenever anyone succeed in running, then you write in chat. Then I will send the other program so that you can see. Others can also see, है ना, how to do. तो जब तक रन नहीं करोगे पता कैसे चलेगा? Okay, so you have done. And next is so next program we have that clerk class, right? So you have to import. So next I'm sharing.
सो
हाँ,
इसको लिंक में पेस्ट करके भेज दीजिए ना, इजी होगा सर.
लिंक में पेस्ट कर दे.
हाँ यस सर, 1 मिनट.
ओके. Okay, so after that, so how others can access?
Sir, create new page and then the link which you will be getting, sir.
Okay. So do we need to log in or something?
No, sir.
Okay, 1 minute. So here I have this. Check here it is working or not.
Yes, sir, working.
So in this link you have that clerk class and manager class. Okay. So check if both program are working. So everyone please try. Let me do all this.
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
sir, can you once more share the person class, sir? Actually, I don't have it.
Yes, yes. Okay, I guess I'm sharing. So one by one I'm sharing. So one is first let me show employee class. So the last was this, and this above is this is employee class and person class I'm sharing. So
ये सब मैनेजर क्लास ये वर्किंग कर रहा है.
okay. Okay, so Ritu has done, but rest all please try. So you need a person class for the employee class, and you need employee class to this clerk and manager class. Okay, and you may need my date class. So save all in the one location, so you don't need to write the location or path, but you have to import from that program. Import that class. So everyone please try to run that clerk and manager class. So for that you need all this. So I will just show you the program. So I will stop then. We'll take the attendance. Before that, let's see PPT once more. So we were here, hierarchical inheritance. So like here we had class clerk. So clerk class is using employee class as a base class, and then employee class is using person class as a base class. Okay. So this is one example that figure is representing hierarchical inheritance. And one more we have like subclass. So multiple inheritance. Okay. So we'll use multiple subclass, I think. So let's see what it says. So subclass derives its attributes from two or more classes. Okay, two or more classes. Then such inheritance is called multiple inheritance. So actually subclass derives its attribute from two or more classes. For example, we will make a class appointment, and in that appointment class we will use my date class and my time class. Like appointment will be fixed on this date and this time. So my time class will contain the time, and my date class will contain a date. So that's here. So from the next class I will start here abstract method. So I will share this also. So here I have. So this is the first my time class. So what is here? So first try to understand. So the class we have my time. We are initiating object. So initially default values are 0, 0, 0, 0 hour, 0 minute, 0 second. So time, okay, my time. So self dot set hours, self dot set minutes, and self dot set seconds. So these are associating this. So what is this set hours? So defining this function set hours, it has parameters self and hours. So if hours is more than 0 and hours is less than equal to 23, okay, then self dot hours is hours. So we are just restricting that hour conditions, okay, 0 to 23. So 24 hours will be 0, 0, right? So it's on 12 hours, sorry, 24-hour system. And else print invalid value of hours, okay, and sys.exit. So program will exit here. Now def set minutes. So we are setting minutes. So self minutes. So self is object, minute is variable. And if minute is more than 0 and less than equal to 59, so you have to take minutes between 0 and 59, and self dot minutes is equal to minutes. Otherwise, so now if you enter minute between 0 and 49, so it will consider attribute of the object, and else it will print invalid value of minutes for minutes, and program will exit. Then set seconds, self seconds, second is more than 0, less than equal to 59. So self dot seconds is equal to seconds, else print invalid value of seconds, and then program will exit. Okay. So second you have to enter between 0 and 59. Okay, now def string self. So this is for printing output as a string. So if self dot hours is less than equal to 9, if it is one digit, okay, so like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, up to 9, one digit, so you'll add 0 before that because you want to take your time like this. So which form you are printing this way? Yeah, so r, then minute, and then second like है ना. So 11 11 बज के 20 मिनट इस तरह से ना, 10 second like that. So we are creating like that. So we are adding 0 if it is single digit before that, and if it is not a single digit, then we'll directly convert into string. And here also it is string addition. If self dot minute is less than equal to 9, same thing, add 0 before that, else convert directly into string, and same thing for second. Now we are returning hour, minutes, seconds in this format. So this is the format. Okay, current time. So this is my time. This 23:50 मतलब है ना 23:50 30 seconds. So when you print it, so you can see the output here. So this 23 Oh, so this is for different. So let me run it. So something is wrong. So here we have inserted 0, 0, 0. Okay. So it should print what? If I take something, current time is my time, and suppose 22, suppose 11, and 45. So it should print like this. So why 20 to 20 to 45? Something is wrong, is it? So what is wrong? It should print this 22, 11, 45. Something is wrong in the minutes. So check. Oh, here I have done wrong. Is it? So I have to write minutes. It will work now. So that was the problem. Fine. So now it is working. So 22, 11, 45. This is a time. So this class is my time class. Similarly, we have my date you have already seen. Now I will import my time and my date, and that will define the class appointment. So I fix the appointment. Okay, so we'll see it in next class. So we have less time. So I have to take attendance also. So we'll see this in next class. So from here we'll see in next class. So this program I will show you next class. My date and my time. These two are two classes, and we will use that in the appointment class. This is called multiple inheritance. So when you use two or more classes in a subclass. Okay. So you may write if you want. This is the appointment class. So it will use my time and my date. So my time I have shown you, but so I will share it next class. So first let me take the attendance. Okay, Alexander, Sahil,
Present, sir.
Shreya,
Yes, sir.
Anuja,
Present, sir.
Ujjwal, Anas, Sangram,
Present, sir.
Sanjeevani,
Present, sir.
Puspanjali,
Present, sir.
Anil,
Yes, sir.
Manish.
Nilsson present.
हाँ अनिल प्रेजेंट. मयंक,
Present, sir.
साहिल, सॉरी मयंक के बाद
Present, sir.
शिवम, शिवम,
Yes, sir.
शिवम, साहिल बोथ प्रेजेंट. ओके. ऋतुराज,
Present, sir.
रोहन,
Present, sir.
अर्शदीप,
Present, sir.
राहुल, आंचल,
Present, sir.
हर्ष,
Present, sir.
राहुल चक्रवर्ती, अभिजीत,
Yes, sir.
कोमल,
Present, sir.
अभिप्सा,
Present, sir.
अभिषेक,
Yes, sir.
सुमन,
Present, sir.
आयुष,
Present, sir.
अभिस्मान, शर्मिला,
Present, sir.
प्रेरणा,
Present, sir.
सुवानी,
Present, sir.
नीलम,
Present, sir.
अनिर्बन, प्रांजल, रुचि,
Present, sir.
राहुल,
Yes, sir.
प्रीतीश, एलिसा, सचिन, प्रयाग, रमाकांत,
Present, sir.
यश,
Present, sir.
अनिकेत, अम्लान ज्योति, हिमांशु,
प्रेजेंट सर।
हंसराज,
प्रेजेंट सर।
अयाज बेग, अपूर्व, करीना,
Present, sir.
पुष्कल, हर्ष,
प्रेजेंट सर।
अंकिता, रोहित।
सर पुष्कर राज प्रेजेंट सर।
हाँ ठीक है ठीक है, रोहित भी प्रेजेंट है। ठीक है, ओके, थैंक यू, विल मीट इन नेक्स्ट क्लास।
ओके सर।
सर अनस सर।
सर उज्जवल।
तुम लोग क्या सो रहे थे?
सर मेरा तो कॉल ही नहीं किया आप।
ऐसा है क्या? एक मिनट। उज्जवल कौन सा? उज्जवल जमुआर?
यस यस सर।
ओके। अनस मुराद?
सर अनस।
हाँ हो गया, ठीक है। और कोई? ठीक है, चलो, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सर।